Welcome to the webinar, How to Boost Business Income and Cash Flow by 200K per location without making additional sales or working harder. We will get started here in just a moment. Just get yourself comfortable, grab some water, whatever. Get ready to take some notes. We have a lot of great information to share with you today, so we want to make sure you get all of that down on paper or recorded in some way as much as you can. Type in yes in the chat box if you would, just to let me know you're there. Okay, good. All right. Well, excellent. Well, let's go ahead and get started. And again, this is a webinar called How to Boost Business Income and Cash Flow by 200K per location without making additional sales or working harder. We have a lot of good information to share with you today, so get ready. Let's talk about who this webinar is for. If you own or manage a business and or commercial property and you want to boost profits and cash flow, this webinar is for you. Types of businesses that are excellent candidates for big savings are manufacturers and developers of new products and services, commercial property owners such as owners of hotels, hospitals, funeral homes, medical facilities, apartment owners, automotive dealerships, grocery stores, restaurants. Also, businesses with credit card sales of 300K plus annually, or workers' comp premiums of 40K plus annually, and companies that have cell or wireless phone bills of over 1K per month, or parcel shipping cost of 200K plus annually, or energy costs 2K plus per month, or waste costs of 1K per month. Also, if you hire a number of new employees every year, let's say 10 plus per year. But who's the webinar not for? Well, if you do not own or manage a business or a commercial property, or do not strongly influence someone who does, the webinar is probably not for you. But if someone you care about does own or manage a business or commercial property, you may want to tell them about the webinar. Now, a question for you. What would your life look like if you could boost your annual business income and cash flow by $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 or more per location? What would you do with those savings? How would those savings impact your business? How would it impact your life? Who could you help with that additional cash flow? If these savings would be significant for you or your business, the rest of the webinar is for you. In less than an hour, we're going to show you how a big income and cash flow boost is possible for your business. We'll show you how to get money back on vendor payments you've already made, how to cut business taxes, whether you amend your tax return or not, and how to get business tax credits even if you're not profitable now. We'll also show you how to achieve these savings at no risk to you without extra work or more sales. So the next hour, you'll learn how to easily restructure vendor accounts so you stop overpaying vendors, and how if you have overpaid on vendors, you can get refunds. How you can get refunds, for example, on business insurance you paid several years ago, and how you can have cost experts working for you on a pay for results only basis. We'll also look at why your current managers and staff can't do this for you. Now, what makes this webinar different? Well, there's nothing for sale here. There's just good, helpful content that will give a shot of profit adrenaline to your business every month, if you qualify. So, why stick around for the webinar? Well, as you can see off to the right there, it may be because you feel that money is somehow flying out the windows of your business. And you don't know really how it's happening exactly, or where the loss is coming from, or why it's happening. So in this webinar, you'll see how your vendors are taking advantage of you every month. you'll discover some new tax incentives that are available for your business even if you just started it. And you'll learn how to hang on to more of your hard-earned dollars. Some more questions for you. Do you feel like one month your business income is high, the next it's dropped off and you're struggling to hit your income targets? Are your tax bills sucking up way too much of the profits you fought to earn? Are you and your people working too many hours, close to burnout, and wondering if the only way to hit your income goals is to work even harder? Have you paid staff or consultants month after month without getting the bottom line results you expected? Are your accounting people classifying your expenses properly, but finding few or no ways to actually cut expenses? And your tax preparers, are they getting your tax returns done on time, but not showing you how to keep the tax man at bay? Here's the good news. You can boost your profits and cash flow without working harder, without changing vendors, without investing more time and money or hiring new staff or laying off staff, making more sales or changing business practices or rewriting the tax code, if that's even possible. So what's the real problem with boosting profits and cash flow for your business? I would assert that you don't have the right people working in the right areas in the right way, with the right tools and the right knowledge and experience, working every month to save you money. Now, I'm not saying you don't have good people, but there are some things they just can't do if they're not specialists in certain types of cost savings. So what's in it for you in this webinar? Well, you see it right there, maximizing cash flow. That's what we're talking about, maximizing after-tax dollars and cash flow for your business. We're talking about having a lower base of monthly expenses and being able to get big reach-back expense refunds. In many cases, we're talking about reducing your tax payments in 30 days or less and restructuring vendor accounts for the lowest cost to you. So what could you and your business do with higher profits and cash flow? Who else in your life would benefit from that? Okay, you may be wondering, well, why should I listen to you? So why should you listen to me? Well, our savings experts have saved our clients over $350 million in the past 12 years. We're savings experts with many years of experience. Our team includes CPAs, attorneys, engineers, computer programmers, industry experts, auditors, and more. We use specialized tools and software geared to analyze reams of expenses and to spot overcharges. And we dig into many of your expenses deeper, harder, and faster than your AP people, your controller, or your CPA or CFO to ferret out savings. We're not a one-trick pony. 9 out of 10 companies benefit from one or more of our cost-saving services. Now, my personal background, my name is Ted Eisensee. I'm a CPA. I've worked as an auditor, a CFO, controller, business owner. I have experience in multiple industries with companies ranging from startups to over $500 million in annual revenue. And I'm focused now on bringing cost savings to small and medium-sized businesses with the right savings team for each business. So let's talk tax returns. Let's talk about the savings that are possible with your local, your state, and your federal tax returns. Let's look at business income taxes, an example of how this is often done. The old way, I call it. Well, you close your books, you gather data for your tax return, you prepare the tax return, whether it's your staff doing it or an outside preparer, and you and they look for obvious deductions and credits. You may complain about your taxes being too high, and guess what? You pay them anyway. So what's wrong with business as usual for tax returns? Well, you see the guy off to the right there, an accountant with a big pile of tax returns on his desk. He probably feels this way, or she, quite often during the tax season. There's just too much to do. And as a result of that, many tax preparers focus more on quantity than quality. Not that they don't want to do a good job or don't in most cases, but they're often not experts in your industry or in specialized tax incentives. The tax code is also very complex and it changes every year. And typical CPAs are not experts in specialized tax incentives. They may specialize in certain types of businesses, certain types of returns, but they're not experts necessarily in a full range of specialized tax incentives. So the other question is, if your tax preparer prepares a specialized tax incentive, will it hold up to an IRS audit? Let's look at business income tax done what I call the new way. It involves supplementing your current tax preparer. Again, you don't have to change necessarily your current tax preparer, but use experts in specialized tax incentives to supplement what your current tax preparer can do. And make sure that this expert has fees that are reasonable based on the value that he, she, they provide. And have them review not just the current year's taxes, but prior years as well. Some key areas to review would be research and development tax credits, hiring credits, and using something that we'll talk about a little bit more in the webinar, cost segregation. So again, do we replace your tax preparer? No, we supplement them. We work closely with your tax preparer or your CPA or in-house staff as needed. It's about teamwork, not competition, when it comes to saving your taxes. So let's look at what types of savings are possible in the area of commercial property. This would be for companies that own commercial property, whether they invest in it as a separate business or it's part of their assets on the balance sheet. So what we do is we look at, our team takes an in-depth analysis of specialized incentives that are available for commercial property owners. And you can see off to the right there some of the companies that we've done work for. Very big names there and some you don't recognize. But in any case, there are many, many companies that we provide these services for. So who qualifies for our services? Well, you don't have to be a huge company to qualify. If you have a commercial building or buildings that are purchased or constructed or renovated in the past 20 years for over $500,000, or if you have property taxes in excess of $50,000 per year, then you're a candidate for some of what we're going to be talking about. How much could this be worth to you? Well, the average tax savings are $75,000 for every $1 million in purchase price or construction cost. And we're talking about property taxes and saving on your income taxes. So cost segregation, I mentioned that before. What cost segregation is a method for breaking down the components of your buildings and taking the depreciation for those elements over the shortest period of time possible by law, rather than depreciating your entire building as a lump sum. So for example, what you're able to do, according to the law, the IRS, is break your building down into components such as site improvements, light fixtures, wiring, plumbing, flooring, electrical, furnishings, shelving, wall coverings, many different things that you see pictured here. And the benefits to owners would be that you're speeding up the depreciation that you're able to claim on these components of your building. You're reducing your taxes, thereby improving your cash flow and your after-tax profits. Now, the great thing about cost segregation is that if, let's say you bought a building 5-10 years ago and you did not do cost segregation, there's a form that you can file with the IRS with your current tax return, and you're able to achieve a catch-up benefit. It does not require amending your tax return. So you can get the depreciation extra depreciation you could have taken over the past 10 years in the current year. So the great thing is you do not even have to amend your tax return to do that. Let's look at some of the savings that some of our clients have earned or realized through cost segregation. A Korean grocery store chain realized savings of $3 million. A Comfort Suites received benefits of $630,000. A Holiday Inn $950,000. A manufacturing company realized savings of $1 million. Convenience store $73,000. Dermatology office savings of $89,000. So I mentioned before that, and it's in the title of the webinar, how you can save $200K per location. You can see that in many cases it could be far more than $200,000. Of course, averages being what they are, a lot of times it's going to be less as well. Now let's look at what manufacturers have available to them in terms of savings. Manufacturers represent a type of company that has more than the average number of benefits possible to it in terms of taxes you could save. And you look off to the right, you can see many industries that we've worked in and that are eligible for these type of savings, from aerospace, civil engineering, job shops, construction, oil and gas, software, telecommunications. There's not too much limiting the opportunities here. So who qualifies for these type of savings in terms of dollars? Well, if your company has qualified activities with total U.S. payroll over $500,000, you're a candidate for some of the savings that are available. The average tax savings that are available would be $20,000 to $40,000 per year. This is a recurring possibility of savings for every $1 million in total company payroll. And you may be eligible for 3 prior tax years plus the current year. So you could be talking about 4 years of savings once you start implementing these strategies. And again, benefits to owners, well, certainly you're increasing your cash flow, your after-tax dollars. And in many cases, you're talking about a tax credit, which means it's a dollar for dollar reduction in your taxes. Another great thing is if you go back to prior years, you're able to get the benefit from those prior years with interest included. And if you don't have the ability to take advantage of this in the current year due to your profit situation, you can carry forward unutilized credits for up to 20 years. Now, one of the things that we're talking about here as a method for realizing these credits is through something called research and development tax credits. Now you see pictures here of people in lab coats and working with test tubes, and that's often an image that people may think about when they hear about research and development. But according to the IRS, the current definition of R&D is much broader than many people realize, and it does involve things such as coming up with a new or improved product, even a process, a technique, a formula, software, or some invention. And it would often involve things that are technological in nature, or that could be dealing with eliminating uncertainty in a process, for example, or it could involve something that has involved a process of experimentation. So it's much broader, again, than many people would think. Some of the qualified activities that would qualify for the research and development credit: manufacturing, fabrication, engineering. I won't read all of these here that you see on the slide, but it involves many different aspects. So again, software development is one of them, automating or streamlining internal processes, developing tools, molds, dies, developing or applying for patents, etc. It's very broad. And let's look at some examples of the benefits that some of our clients have realized. The savings of $230,000 were realized by an injection molding firm. An adhesive manufacturer realized savings of $190,000. A civil engineering firm savings of $115,000. A parts manufacturer realized savings of $1 million. An engineering design firm $320,000. And a job machine shop savings of $99,000. So those are some of the possibilities for savings in the tax area, but let's talk about some other types of cost savings opportunities. The old way of dealing with vendors is, even if you're doing something like using an iPad or some type of tablet, you search for a vendor. Maybe you're going to use Google, maybe you're looking for references to reviews, you're price shopping, etc. Finally, you select a vendor. You're going to set up a package of services with them, and often it's done in a set it and forget it manner. Then you pay for the services. Your staff reviewing the bills may question obvious errors. And finally, if you're not happy, you may change vendors for a better deal. A new way of dealing with vendors is trust but verify. Remember, Ronald Reagan said that when he was talking about dealing with the Soviets back in the days where we were trying to reduce the arms race. So that's useful also with vendors. Trust but verify. Select the vendor however it makes sense to you, and then keep your existing vendors if you're happy with them. But here's the thing, the verify piece. Use outside experts to optimize the structure of your vendor accounts, and use them to review your account or accounts monthly to spot errors and to get refunds. And then pay those experts only out of savings and refunds that they generate. Let's look at a vendor example in the area of credit cards, credit card merchant fees. There's a lot of possibilities for savings here. And the problem is that credit card processing is complex. And there are hundreds of payment processing fees. There are layers of discount rates and surcharges. There are numerous processing options. There are many payment gateways. There are multiple payment processing entities. And competition for your business is fierce. You probably get a lot of calls from companies looking to change who is processing your credit card sales. And because of that, deceptive sales tactics abound, and overcharging and errors, well, they're common. So who should a merchant trust when they're trying to decide to whom to give their credit card merchant business? Should it be your sales rep selling the merchant services who gets paid on commissions? Let's look at how we reduce credit card merchant fees. In phase 1, we right-size your account plan, and we place your merchant account on the correct plan type with the most competitive plan rate. Savings are therefore immediately realized moving forward. In phase 2, we implement what we call processing optimization, which involves correcting future transactions to avoid downgrades to your account so that you're not falling into the set it and forget it way of establishing your package of services. And in this phase 2, we also audit and analyze the credit card processing every month. We have software tools and experts that secure the lowest possible card processing rate and ensure accurate billing so that we help merchants reduce overall payment processing expenses. And you can continue using your existing merchant service provider. We're not saying you need to switch to us or anybody else. We work directly with the provider on your behalf every month. And if you do decide that you want to change, we do have a network of merchant services providers that is immediately available if you choose to obtain or switch processing services. If you do that, know that we're a partner provider for the 2 largest payment gateways, Authorize.net and PayPal, and we offer wholesale pricing to merchants. Our team has the expertise and experience to recommend payment processing improvements, including back office accounting integration, e-commerce solutions, card present terminal and POS equipment, and payment gateway configuration and support. So, by implementing all of these strategies, the average savings is 21% on processing fees that we're able to achieve for our clients without changing your current provider. Just as an example of the type of analysis and report that we produce, you can see here that The savings that we were able to achieve for this merchant who had $923,000 in credit card sales, we achieved $2,216 in that statement period. So in many states, I want you to know that we can totally eliminate your credit card fees, and that's because there's something called zero cost credit card processing. It's now allowed in many states. And we are able to provide that if you choose to go through us. We're one of the few providers that actually has the ability to do this in a completely compliant way, compliant with all the recent regulations and laws. Another area I want to talk about is how we can cut parcel shipping expenses. I'm talking UPS and FedEx in particular. Freight audit service clients of ours typically see up to 3% hard dollar savings in refunds and an additional 7% savings through cost savings analytics. We bill clients monthly based on a percentage of the refunds that we are able to collect for them. The combined average savings you can see are 10% of freight charges. The way we're able to do this is we have proprietary audit software. We also have industry experts that are very familiar with the type of errors and issues that can come up in the billing of UPS and FedEx expenses. We make it easy for our clients because we download shipping invoices from vendors' accounts each week, and we secure the refunds due to clients. The service is really risk-free to you. Another area where we're able to provide savings and the type of expense is workers' comp insurance premiums. We have a workers' comp audit that identifies and recovers workers' comp premium overcharges by looking at the past 5 to 7 years of your classifications, the experience rating calculations, the premium audit calculations, such that over 80% of all companies in 70% of the cases, we're able to recover savings for our clients because there's so much overcharging that's going on in this industry. The candidates for savings are companies with average workers' compensation premiums of $50K or above. And if they have operations in more than one state, that increases the opportunity of recovering a refund. The typical savings are 10 to 15% of annual premiums. There's some other cost-saving services that we don't have time to discuss today, but I'll mention them briefly. Cell phone audits or wireless audits. If you have bills of more than $1,000 per month, you're a candidate there. Also, if you have waste and recycling expenses of $1,000 or more per month. In addition, we have a division which focuses on helping you claim whatever is due to your company from class action claims that have already been approved or in the process of being approved by the courts. And depending upon your industry, you may qualify for recoveries in several different types of claims. Our mission is to boost income and cash flow for small and medium-sized businesses. And again, we're not a one-trick pony. So in summary today, we've discussed multiple ways we can help our clients save money in business expenses such as credit card merchant fees, partial shipping costs, workers' comp insurance premiums, and other expenses such as cell and wireless bills, waste and recycling, class action claims, and even energy costs. We also talked about ways you can save on property taxes and income taxes for businesses and commercial properties. So what's next? Well, if the savings we've discussed would be significant for your business, you may sign up with us for a free savings strategy call. We'll see if you qualify for one or more of our savings services. An application is required. It's not very difficult to fill that out. And there's no obligation on your part. There's really no risk. And if you qualify for a savings service, we do the work if you want us to, then we'll share the savings between us. We just need you to authorize us to work on your behalf after the savings call if you choose to engage us. So to move ahead with booking a savings strategy call at no obligation to you, just click below at http://meetme.so/TEDISENSEE. And let's see if we have any questions that have come in. Just type them in the chat box if you have any. Okay, let's see here. A question on how long does it take to get savings? Well, it really depends on how quickly you move. We can move typically quite fast, within weeks, no more than months typically. But one of the things we need from our clients is data. So if you're able to get us the data we need, we can move quite quickly. Also, a question on our fees. Well, our fees range from 10% to 50% of the savings that we generate. It depends on the type of expense we're looking at, the amount of work that's involved, but it's never more than 50%, and it can be as low as 10%. So how much could my business save? Well, you saw examples in the webinar, companies saving really in the millions, and you've seen some examples of companies saving less than $100,000. It also depends on whether you have property. You don't have to have property in many of these cases, but it certainly increases your possibilities for savings. And I also want to mention that we do work, or since we do work on a contingency basis, that we really only want to work with companies that are serious about cost savings. And that's one reason we have an application. We want to make sure that we're not going to waste each other's time, that there is the possibility of saving money for you, and that we're able to have a good chance at sharing in some of those savings. So if that's you, go to that link below. I have it up on the screen again, and you can, at that link, you'll be able to fill out an application and also book on our calendar a call. And okay, yes, how long does a call take? It's usually 20 minutes on average. It could be a little less, it could be a little bit more, depending upon your situation. So thanks for attending today's webinar. We hope we've inspired you with saving strategies to boost income and cash flow for your business. If someone you care about has a business that may benefit from our services, do feel free to share our contact information. Just as I directed you before to go to a link to fill out an application and get on our calendar, you can direct whoever you'd like to, if you think they would qualify, to the same place to fill out an application. Remember, our mission is to increase income and cash flow, particularly for small and medium-sized businesses. So they and you have more freedom and ability to help people that they care about. I have my contact information on the screen below as well, phone number, email, and a website, but really the best place to go is to the link I gave you to fill out an application and get on our calendar. So again, I'll put it up on the website, the link. All right. Very good. Okay, well, thanks again for being on the webinar. And if you do sign up for a strategy call, I look forward to speaking with you soon. Thanks.